Good afternoon. My name is Scott Redler, Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead.
观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看今天的直击美股，我是主持人张叔，在纽约向您问好。Hi Scott, US stocks traded lower today as we're still in this 2140 level. It doesn't seem like many things have changed. So which level should we break to make some move here?
Well, the same way we couldn't break out to the upside yet. I feel like we're not going to really do it to the downside. I guess some earnings can change that. All in all, it's still a lot of the same with the S&P cash. You look at the chart here, you still have levels to go on. Here's your old resistance that we've been talking about. Came back and retested it right here. The bears couldn't get any downside, so that's what rallied us. Where we rallied back into, we've rallied right back into the 50-day. And for now, we're not able to get above that. So is it the end of the world that we had a down day? No. Okay, we did come from this lower level the past few sessions, right? Here was one low, higher low, higher low. So I would say tomorrow there's some breathing room here, but I would think that this area needs to holdish in order to create maybe another higher low to then get a little bit more juice for at some point to break above this. So at this point, filled the gap. So some guys might have got stopped out of longs, and now I guess we'll see what happens with Apple and some of the earnings.
And today, the tech sector took a day off as it already extended for several days, so it's understandable. But before the Apple earnings, what's your focus right now?
Well, in the morning note, I talked about how Facebook multiple days up, Amazon multiple days up, Google multiple days up, Netflix multiple days up. So it made sense to let them breathe. What do I mean by letting them breathe, and what do I mean by multiple days up? Well, here you go. Facebook broke above this resistance level, okay, prior to earnings. So having a day off in this upper end of the range, not that big of a deal. It's still extended from the 8-day and the 21-day, so that's actually healthier. Google shook the tree a little bit more, but also gave you this pre-earnings move, so that's why it came in flat today. You look at where it broke out from, then it retested right here, and all of a sudden came back in a little bit, but again, still hasn't had earnings yet, still in this trend. As far as Amazon's concerned, Amazon also just had a really big move from 811. So, holding up here near old resistance prior to earnings is not the end of the world. You want to have exits and entries in the right fashion. Here was your entry, and then here might be a little bit of an exit, and then we'll see how it holds in there. And ultimately, Apple, we'll see, 430. Okay, we'll see how it dictates the tape. Right now, I'm flat Apple. If it all of a sudden reports decent report and good guidance, I will be buying as much as I can through 118.69. Okay, next level in Apple after hours is about $5 higher, which is also the measured move. So if it does come in line and guidance is good, which I think the guidance is going to be good, I'm just not sure about the quarter, you could see a move towards this 124. If they miss, okay, or the headline isn't good, I think I'm going to be looking to buy it anywhere clear near this 110 to 112. So this is my play, which I put a chart on Twitter. If you want to look, goes right through the pivot. You're a buyer into here's resistance. If they miss on the headline and it comes in, I think that you might be able to buy it here and then listen for the guidance, because I think the guidance is going to be better than in the past when they sandbag it.
Okay. On the other hand, metals bounce back from the lower range. Is it real, or is just like a dead cat bounce, considering the expectation on raising the rate?
You know what? Metals to me are very choppy. Some guys trade them all the time. I trade them when they're compelling. You look at the GDX, which is the miners, okay? Basically very choppy. We know when the trend changed. The trend changed all the way up here. We know when it retested the trend, okay, and then when it broke. So now down here, it's trying to give you a lower level trade. Some guys made some good money, okay, down here when it cleared this lower level. What's a lower level pivot? A lower level pivot is something like this. Day 1, day 2, day 3. They shook the tree yesterday and then kind of engulfed it. So I think it's hard to be long or short, but if this were to trade above 24.99, you could at least get a gap fill and maybe even test a 50-day, which has been curling down. We've been below the 50-day for quite some time. So until this gets reclaimed, take trades both ways. Maybe you're a buyer here and you're a seller there. And the GLD, might as well look at this. It also, reclaimed yesterday's weakness, and now it seems as if maybe it wants to test this gap, which is a little bit higher. It did clear this lower level range and never came back and broke below it. So, today it's got the benefit of the doubt.
And also, speaking of oil has been the focus recently, and it has another down day. So do you think, should we worry about oil?
I think they're still trying to figure out if they're going to be output cuts, et cetera, et cetera. USO for now still is holding around this area. Sometimes it's constructive, sometimes it's not. If USO were to break this 1122, it's probably still okay. It's just not a tailwind. You know, oil was a tailwind when it broke this descending channel and went all the way up to the highs. Now it's kind of just a neutral land where it's a little bit of a headwind, and you'll have to see whether or not it holds this if this upper level breaks. And this is also the 200-day, so I would be on alert that we went from a tailwind to now it's kind of neutral. And lastly, a lot of guys were worried about some of these new issues, and the new issues are still kind of lethargic. And you know, you had a one-day bounce in ACIA, okay, and it engulfed it, so I'd be careful right here. And then those of you who were worried about Twilio, well, it broke price. Okay, that's not good. When these things come out with secondaries and you know, you can't get price supported, which was 40, you have to be careful. Most guys got out of this up here when the 8 and 21-day broke. Remember, new issues, when they're above the 8-day, strong. Above the 8-day and 21-day, strong. Here, it lost it. All of a sudden, you have to be careful. Okay, now at this point, close below 40. We'll see what's next.
Okay, that's all we have for today.
Yes, we're always running out of time. So if you want more, make sure to buy Redler All Access in the morning, real time, 20 to 25 different stock sectors with what they could be doing, how to react when the market opens, that can make you cash flow.
好的，感谢您的收看，我们明天再见。Yeah, we're good.